All right, welcome back to the Tool World podcast. I'm your host, David Jew, and I'm here with Master Jew.
Hello there, Mr. Jew.
Hello, hello. This week we're going to be covering the first ITF World Games. It's a little bit late, but I'm just coming back from Korea itself.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I was quite surprised, actually.
It was a 3-day event.
I think there was like 30 countries.
30 countries. Actually, there was over 2,000 people in that stadium.
Really?
Between the World Games and Taekwondo 1 Championship.
Right.
So they had a little bit of dual things going on.
Right.
And there was over 2,000 people, I heard.
Oh, wow. That's pretty
Or
cool.
competitors, yeah.
Taekwondo 1, that's more like the WT group. But I think they're doing some joint stuff, right? So
Right.
some of them are doing like some of our patterns, ITF patterns, and vice versa, because I think there was a demonstration of that. Mr. Park was demonstrating one of the pattern, and one of the WT guy was demonstrating, I forget what the pattern was, but ITF pattern.
Oh, they were doing Hwang.
Okay.
Hwang. And then,
that was in a demo in the beginning.
Yeah. So they did have a little bit of demonstration between the two, and so they were kind of bouncing off each other, which I thought was pretty cool.
It is cool.
Yeah, they were doing that pumse that goes like.
I mean, President Che is.
The high kick and then.
Yeah. I was saying, I think President Che is making in-grounds in Korea and working with, trying to make sure that ITF is recognized in its motherland. I guess you could call it the motherland.
Yeah, for sure.
Or is it the fatherland?
No, motherland.
Motherland. Because, Taekwondo, General Che was a 2-star general in the South Korean army, right? That's
right.
where it was really born to its maturity.
Okay, so let's go ahead and we're going to recap the tournament. So we talked a little bit about Taekwondo WT being there.
Right.
President Che was back in that area, and I think a couple podcasts ago we talked a little bit about
His meeting.
meeting with the KTA. So why don't we go ahead and start with the opening ceremony? I think one of the most interesting parts was they had that board breaking demonstration by the WT.
Well, it reminded me like they were the guys from America's Got Talent.
Yeah.
It was
pretty
dynamic.
much.
They're jumping up. They're, boards flying everywhere.
Right.
That was awesome.
That was pretty awesome.
And then when the ITF demonstrated the board breaking, and that you could just see an amount of power.
Right.
I mean, bricks and just massive amount of boards, I mean, that's, you want to demonstrate some of that idea about power.
Right.
So yeah, that was awesome.
So you got a little bit of
Both,
right? You had some of the
Finesse.
flashy techniques with the spinning kicks, and then ITF demonstrating a lot of the smashing and
Would you say
theories of
that's
power.
more like traditional?
Yeah, I would probably say that's a little bit more traditional.
More traditional, the way we would have done it 40, 50 years ago.
Well, I think it gave you more of like the North Korean demonstration team feeling. It was a little bit more like that.
They did.
I know they do also do more of the flashy kicks, but the WT was I would say a little bit elevated on the flying kicks, but I think they put a lot more energy and time into that.
In
kind of
doing that, yeah, you have to be pretty acrobatic for that.
Right.
Are you gonna do any flips?
No, you said I'm getting too old. Yeah. You said my time has passed.
Your
so.
time. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's a good point. At what point you look at gymnasts, right? I mean, you got to be. They usually start very young to be able to do those kind of things.
Right.
Is it legit? Well, I mean, it looks good, right? Absolutely. Well, from a self-defense point of view, I don't know if I'd do that.
Right.
Jump up off a guy and then spin around and kick the guy.
Yeah.
Maybe.
But it's cool.
It is cool.
It's cool.
That's it. That's true.
That's the main thing. Anyways, okay, let's move on to the competition. So in the first World Games, originally we called it the World Cup.
Right.
Any reason why we switched it to the World Games?
Well, I don't know. Are we replacing World Cup? I'm not sure about that. To me, it was like a different type of competition.
With different set of rules. They did change some of the guidelines for this tournament.
Well, what did they change?
Well,
I mean, it was really run when you look at the black belt, I thought it was run like the World Championship, right? Yeah, you had all these different countries. They did go traditional uniform for the umpires, right? That was the white shirt, blue pants, blue tie, white sneakers. Where in our past World Championships, we've been wearing like polo shirts, a little bit more casual. I mean, those things can get pretty hot.
Right.
And wearing a tie all day long is... So getting back to, is it a replacement of the World Cup? I don't know, because I don't think I heard that. Maybe I did, which is why I'm paying attention. Or is it a different event?
Or maybe this is an event that's going to be a little bit more consistent because we haven't had a World Cup
in while.
in our organization in a while. So maybe this is something that's going to be a little bit more, I don't want to say annual, biannual, triannual, right? Something that's going to come around. And so it's an interesting
cool.
idea, right?
It's cool because you get color belts to go and do it as well.
Yeah.
And I was surprised. Well, not surprised. I would say I was impressed of the level of competition.
Yes.
And then to see a lot more Asian countries participating. I mean, like Kyrgyzstan, they had a
Kazakhstan,
big team. Kazakhstan, I mean,
big team.
Big team there.
They're all like
and
12 to 16 and
very
killers.
good.
Very good.
I was like, I mean, I think there was a few at the last World Championship, and I was really impressed by that. But they brought a pretty big team. I was pretty impressed by what the standard was and how they're performing.
It was nice to see, well, obviously South Korea was the host country, but they had a massive team.
They did.
A huge team, and then you had Japan.
Japan had a big team.
Big team.
So we don't see that in like our World Championship as much, and so why do you think that is?
Well, I think because we're located a little bit closer to the Asian countries. A little bit easier for them to get to. I mean, usually you have a big U.S. presence.
Right.
But this year it was
20,
and majority was from our school.
Right. Give a shout out to
and then the other remaining was
14.
Total human with Mr. Parr.
That's right.
And we had a couple here and there as well. But usually we bring a bigger team.
For Worlds.
For Worlds, but
Sure.
I think a big part of it was that because of this event was in September, we actually had quite a few people drop out just because of school. And I think that did happen with a lot of like the other European countries as well.
Yeah.
It was a little bit tough just because of the school system.
Yeah, exactly. Just the timing of the event. Originally, I think it was August. I think it was in August.
Yeah.
We definitely would have had more people, even from our own school. Probably would have attended a little bit more, but it's just the way it is sometimes. You know, things come up and you got to make adjustments, right?
All right, so let's go back to one of the things you said, because I've actually heard some other people say this too.
Oh.
I was talking to my
is it?
teammate Matt Lepley, and he said that he thought this tournament, the quality-wise, was actually one of the best he's seen. And he's been to,
He's been to a lot of worlds.
He's been to a lot of worlds since we have.
Yeah.
And what would you say was the difference? Because we do have a lot of different countries there.
Right. I think there's just some issues. I don't want to say issues, but when you think about the World Championships, you generally have to qualify for the team because you only can send a certain amount of people. And maybe some of these competitors had an off day and didn't make the team, so they couldn't go. Maybe that's, whatever the reason might be. But because this tournament was open, anyone could go. I think it just gives people that don't normally, might not have made the team, was able to do it. And then obviously the color belt's the same. It was more of an open. Maybe that's why, I don't know. Because sometimes, your best guy may not necessarily might not be able to go to like a World Championship.
Right.
For whatever reason, right?
Right.
Timing, finance, whatever it is.
Right.
What's your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I agree with that. My second leading question is that because we saw a bigger Asian participation in this, would you say there's any differences that you saw? I mean, I think that across the board, I think a lot of all the countries did very well. I think Argentina still did very well.
Oh, yeah.
You know, they still performed at a high quality. But now you're starting to see some of these other countries like Japan and Korea, and they were also up in the finals as well.
Right.
Kyrgyzstan.
Right.
But we haven't seen a lot of that in the last couple of years. So did that
Right.
bring a different element to the tournament?
Absolutely. You know, is there a little bit different in styles? I kind of think there was, but obviously power is power and technique is technique. I thought a lot of the Asian countries were doing is very similar to what the European countries are doing, what we're doing. And I shouldn't say that so much because they do participate in the World Championship. It's just that we may not have as big of a group, right?
Right.
So
I mean, we're talking about teams that are now the size of like 30 or 40 from them.
right.
I mean, they would come, but it'd probably be like 5.
Right. And so yeah, that select 5 were pretty good, obviously. Like Mr. Kunjin Park, he's a world champion and he's always performing. And he always wins at a very high level. So you probably have a lot of people that are like that. This just doesn't go to the world champ for whatever reason, right? But yeah, I think this gave us an opportunity to see a little bit more of the Asian countries.
All right. I think this time you're actually a coach.
That's right. Well, someone made me a coach.
Yeah, I made him be a coach because we'd only hear. I was like, "You're going anyway," so
You're going, go coach.
he could have been an umpire, but you haven't coached in
Many years.
many years. I think the last time was what, 2007?
Yeah, I think so. 2007.
2007. I thought it was kind of cool because when I competed in 2014 and I won, I think Catherine was our coach.
Was she?
Yeah. And then this time you're my coach, so.
Oh, might be running in the family.
Yeah, it must be or something like that. What was your differences in coaching versus umpiring? Because you usually umpire. You've done that many years.
That's true.
And we always have to give a big shout out to the umpires because
That's a tough
that is a
job.
tough job.
Tough job. Well, first of all, let's understand why did I go as a coach versus an umpire? Because I always like to support the ITF, and they need a lot of help.
Yes.
And umpires, they just need people, right? And
yes.
we were a little bit lacking for sure.
Right.
At this tournament.
Well, I think part of it was because also the U.S. was lacking. We just didn't have many. We're just looking from our school. We already knew we had about 15.
Right.
And
we needed more coaches from our side.
Right.
They need some. And, they were just high ranks. I wouldn't worry about it as much, but we had a bunch of color belts, young
like
color
very
belts.
Young ones, yeah.
Yeah, and they needed some assistant.
Yeah.
And so you and I decided to be the coach for our guys, and that's some primary reason. But I don't know. I hate to say it, but the coaching job is not easy either. Trying to listen for those names and where are they on the bracket, and trying to find the competitors to get down on the floor on time. And then trying to encourage them. You know, as an umpire, I just have to sit there.
See who gets pulled up.
Yeah, I like him. Yeah, I like him. Whatever.
Right.
But it's a tough job because they have you as an umpire. You want to be impartial. You want to be, you want to have a certain standard so that it's fair for everybody. Both jobs are required. And as far as what should you do, I think a lot of our lower ranks, and when I say lower ranks, maybe 4th, 5th degrees should definitely be trying to do some coaching stuff. Getting some of the higher ranks for sure umpire because they have more experience. They can see those things, right?
Right.
You need diversity
in
these events, so not to favor one. That's why you have 5. I mean, do we vote not consciously, but subconsciously? You see certain things. When I see certain things, like from my student, I go, I think that's right, but then someone else looks at it and they go, well, that's not right. I mean, that's why you try to get as many umpires to kind of wash those things out.
Anyways, let us know you guys' thoughts on the first ITF World Games.
Historical.
And as always, don't forget to be safe.
Keep training.
And we'll see you guys next time.
Taekwondo.